Hello, welcome to Yoga TX. I'm Jacq, and this practice is all about the lower back, which I know is a cranky spot for many of us. So we'll work with some low back relief stuff. And if you are specifically having like actual pain in your lower back, one of the best things you can do in many of the poses is to bend your knees. Because let's remember that everything is connected. So sometimes if our hamstrings are tight, it's pulling on our hips, which is pulling on our back. So you'll hear me cue that a lot in practices to bend your knees. So keep that in mind. And we want to find that place that feels like sensation, but not pain. So you know your limits, and let's dive in. I'm sitting on a blanket because right away that space in the pelvis can give us a little bit of relief in the lower back, especially while sitting on the ground. So we're not even going to stay here long. Let's actually meet on our backs. Okay, so set your props off to the side. Let's meet on our backs with the knees bent, feet on the ground. And we'll start with breath here. So let's take the hands to the belly so we can feel the breath. You might like to close your eyes. And as we lie on the earth, lie on our backs, just take note of any particular points of tension. And if there's not any particular points of tension, just noticing the lower back itself. And we will start to now breathe into those spaces we might forget about. So breathe normally and just notice where your hands move. Your belly probably rises, your lungs expand, your chest lifts a little bit. Let's see if we can breathe now into the front of the lungs, the sides of the lungs, and the back of the lungs. So keeping your hands where they are, take a big breath in, don't think about too much, and then breathe out your mouth. As you inhale, breathe into the front of your lungs, the sides of your lungs, wrap it all the way around to the back, and then slow exhale through the mouth. Let's do that twice more. Breathe in, front, side, back. Exhale through the mouth. Last time. And breathe it out. Lengthen your legs. Stretch your arms overhead. And walk your feet to the right. So heel them to the right. And then cross your left ankle on top of your right shin, or the front of the ankle. And then pick your head and the back of your shoulders up and arc in that same direction, so to the right. So we're making this like banana kind of shape. Take hold of your left wrist with your right hand. And then you might even turn your gaze and look up underneath your left elbow. So it's really awesome for the spine to move in these directions, like side to side, because in daily life, we don't move a lot like this, right? So it's good to get these side body openers into our practice. Breathe into your left lung. See if you can find that 3-part inhale where you go front, side, back. And then release your hands and pick your head and shoulders up first. Put them back through center, uncross your feet, and walk the heels all the way over to the other side. So they're walking to the left. Find your depth and then cross your right ankle on top of your left. Lift your head and shoulders up. Scooch a little bit in that direction, but you don't move your butt. Think of your tailbone like an anchor. Catch your right wrist and then turn your head so you can look underneath your right elbow. Breathing front, side, back of right lung. One more time. And then unclasp the wrists, pick up the head, shoulders, put them back into the center. Do the same thing with the legs and the feet. And then draw your knees in toward your chest. Rock a little bit side to side, finding a little bit of a massage for the lower back. And then we'll take some circles with the knees here. So your palms come on top of your knees. Open your knees away from each other and then circle them back toward each other. So you're kind of like rowing a boat. So they circle out and open and then in and close, out and open, in and close. And notice which way you're rowing your boat, which direction you're going. We'll take one more and then we'll switch directions. Okay, so switch the direction of your circles. So just move in the reverse of whatever you were doing. Now let's have our breath be steady and even. So it's a soft ujjayi pranayam, which is a way to say focused and extended breath. So inhale, exhale, even. Take one more. And then take your hands behind your thighs onto your hamstrings. And if it feels okay for your spine, start to find a couple rocks forward and back. And again, if you're having actual back pain, then just roll onto your side and let's all meet seated. Cross your shins, roll over onto your hands and knees. We're gonna meet on all fours. So cat-cow, but let's bring a little more attention to it. So checking out your alignment. Shoulders don't pass the crease of your wrists. You've got a nice long extension of the arm bones. Hips and knees are stacked, and then placing the tops of your feet on the mat. Imagine your big toe bone could grow longer behind you, just to kind of plug your feet down. So you've got anchors through your hands, because there's a lot of weight here. Sometimes our feet get lazy. So anchor your feet. As you breathe in, lift your tailbone and your sit bones, drop your belly, start to look forward, lifting your heart, squeeze your shoulder blades, open your throat. As you breathe out, draw the tailbone in, sit bones in, start to arch your back as you lift your belly, press into the mat with your feet and hands, chin into your throat. Inhale, lift the sit bones, tailbone, drop the belly. Start to lift the head as the heart looks forward and the throat opens up. And then exhale, draw the sit bones in, tailbone in, scooping in, lifting up the belly, press with hands and feet. Let's do two more. So just paying attention to cat and cow, letting the spine move from the base and it kind of unravels the rest of the shape. So starting at the base of the spine, one more cat pose. Good, come back to a neutral spine. Check out your hands and walk your hands one of your own handprints forward. Tuck your toes, lift your hips, let's meet in down dog with bent knees. So it's almost like it feels like a squat in your lower body. Bending the knees, remember we talked about this to start. So finding down dog with super bent knees, let your sit bones lift, imagine your inner thighs were wrapping back behind you. And then you can lengthen your legs just a little bit. But today, let's keep the knees bent. So my heels are lifted for sure, long through the arms. Breathe into the waist. Breathe out. So much more space in the lower back here. Often if we're trying to extend the legs and get the heels down, we are rounding the lower back, which does not feel so nice, especially after doing it a lot. So knees bent, sit bones lift, start to walk your hands toward your feet. Keeping the knees super bent, we'll meet in a fold. Drop your head. Take your left hand to the center of your mat, so it's right underneath your nose. Take your right hand to your lower back. Starting to twist to your right, begin to lengthen your right leg, but bend your left knee more. A block under this left hand is also a great idea. This hand is checking out, are my hips even? So you can kind of feel for yourself. And then look up. As you inhale, take your right arm up. Listen closely. As you breathe out, bend both knees again, fold, and eagle wrap, right arm underneath your left. Knees are super bent. Belly, chest could rest on your thighs. Drop your head. So eagle wrap, right arm under left, or take hands to opposite shoulders. How's your breathing out there? Letting the head kind of fall off the body. Bend your knees even more. Don't get sick of me hearing it. It's really going to help, I promise. Sit your seat down, start to lift your chest. So you've still got your eagle arms. Imagine you're rising up through chair pose, and then use your feet to press down and stand up. Keep your eagle arms. Keep your knees bent, but take a little bit of a back bend. Inhale. And then as you exhale, draw your elbows back into your belly, curl in. Untangle your arms. Look toward the top of your mat, downward dog. And then rebend your knees once you get there, so you can send your sit bones high. Take an inhale and an exhale. One more time, breathe in, long arms, shoulders have space from the ears, and breathe all the way out. Exhale, walk your hands to your feet, back of the mat, hands to feet again. This time, right hand touches down, left hand to your lower back, turn toward your left. And then feel, are your hips even? So you're not turning from the hips, you're turning from the rib cage. The rib cage is turning around the spine. Lengthening the left leg, you can have a generous bend in your right knee. Take your left arm up to the sky. You might even look up. It's a big twist. Take a bow, fold. Bend your knees a lot. Wrap your left arm behind your right for eagle arms. Or take the palms to the shoulders. Take a moment to drop the head. The weight of the arms here acts as traction for the spine to release even more. So let it go. And then bend your knees, sit your seat back in a chair, start to lift your head, lift your fingertips up. So rising up through a wide stance chair pose, press your feet down and then stand up. And then soften your knees again. Inhale, take a back bend. And then exhale, draw your elbows into your belly. Bend your knees as you start to round on in. Release your hands. Crawl yourself back out to downward facing dog. Knees are bent. And then drop your knees down to the mat. Let's take a wide-kneed child's pose. Big toes can come close as you widen the knees. Forehead could rest on the ground if it reaches. If it doesn't reach, take a block underneath your forehead. And then with your arms long, crawl your fingertips forward so you stretch your arms even longer. And then bring your palms to touch. So you find a prayer, and then bend your elbows and let the thumbs rest on the nape of your neck. So you start to stretch to the triceps, the sides of the waist a little bit. Let's take 2 more breaths here. Release your arms, let them lengthen long. You can press your way back up to a seat. I'm going to end this short practice seated today, but if you'd like to lie down on your back, you're welcome to. Still protecting lower back, so I'm going to grab my blanket. These little things we do can make a big difference. Let's take the palms to rest open on the thighs to remind the shoulders to open up. Letting your eye gaze rest in one place or closing your eyes. Let's come back to that 3-part inhale, front, side, back of lungs, just to end in a conscious way. So breathe into the front of the lungs, the side, and the back. And then open the mouth and exhale. Twice more. Breathe in front, side, and back. Release it all. Last one on your own. Let's bring the palms together in front of the heart. Thank yourself for taking time for your body, for your practice, for your life today. Hope you're feeling a little more spacious. You can let your mind bow in toward your heart. And I will see you next time.